communicate to us to the addresses that either through our regional offices or head office, and our address is even in the telephone directory. All this, we thank you very much, dear members.
The International University of Management, a Namibian university dedicated to its people's future, a hub of abundant opportunities.
We are IUL for life. We are IUL.
Good evening and welcome to Today on One. I'm Maggie Forciero. In the news tonight, City of Windhoek collision agreement sealed. Opposition parties must be big enough to put differences aside, says Mudge. A young activist allegedly loses tooth at the hands of an officer. Okahanja's 5 Rand residents receive primary health care. Agricultural enthusiast gets space for a garden. And Roundup Business on One, Comments Corner, Sports and the Weather. Now for the news in detail. The City of Windhoek opposition parties and the Affirmative Repositioning Movement have signed a coalition agreement. This comes following 8 months of pushing and pulling in all directions on how they would best work together to achieve a common goal and provide city residents with decent housing and address matters concerning the citizens. This report from Hendrina Caniolo.
The IPC, NUDO, LPM and AR have signed a coalition agreement in the capital. They say this came after long deliberation and putting the parties' differences aside to work together and make sure that they deliver what they have promised to the city's residents. With the city faced with unhappy citizens over land delivery, the 4 parties say that they are standing together with the Windhoek residents and deliver on their promises, adding that they will not be able to do so if there's anarchy and chaos.
That it took us a very, very long time, unnecessarily, because of different political views and cultures from various partners. But I think over the last 8 months we have really concretized differences to make sure that the differences are not more important than the job at hand. And I think we are at that level where I can say from our Popular Democratic Movement that we have great confidence in the partnership agreement that we have with our fellow principals, that we can be able to move the activities, the affairs of the city of Windhoek in a spirit of coalition, give and take, and in a spirit of collective leadership that we will have to provide. I want to end with the following remarks vis-a-vis on the question of land, that we are very aware and alive and cognizant of the fact that land delivery is a key element that really influenced the politics of 2020. People want land delivery. But land delivery will remain a high priority on the agenda of the progressive forces. We are meeting in the next 2 weeks to try to resolve a plan how we are going to address the question of land delivery. But we are also aware that there are other negative forces that want to derail the process of delivering. We can't deliver services in a chaotic setup. So whoever is trying to create a chaotic situation, we will condemn. Starting with the IG, the Inspector General, who made unconstitutional commentary yesterday, saying that he will take over the city. It is not the place of the securocrat, nor the police, nor the army to take part in affairs of a civilian government. The leadership of Windhoek, The city of Windhoek is intact. We are not in tatters. The government shenanigans of trying to invoke sections in the act to be able to run this city council without a democratic order shall not be allowed. We are intact. We might have differences here and there, but we are cruising now, taking off the plane and making sure that we work together in the better interest of our people.
To all the residents of the city, you must know that the progressive forces, the parties and associations that are providing leadership to the city of Windhoek are up to the task. So whoever has been all over the place saying that it's not possible for them to work together, is today's demonstration that is just prophecy of doom. We will continue to work together. We will continue to be able to do that. As mayor, I'm confident that this is a support system. We are not making excuses, but as of course, as Honorable Venani have indicated, there are those that want to create a lot of problems, to an extent where they even go and tell members of the community that the mayor is in support of what is happening there, the mayor is enjoying it, the mayor is behind it. Those things are just done by desperate forces to be able to create a lot of problems and mistrust between and amongst ourselves. But I'm personally confident that we are definitely going to be able to provide leadership, and the residents, we can assure you that the future is going to be bright. All of you are going to need sunglasses.
Panduleni Itula and Joseph Kandengo, both at the signing, said this is testimony that political parties can work together in achieving a common goal.
When forces that do not want progress come together, they will concur together to make sure that they seek to evoke even Section 92 to deny the citizens of the city of Windhoek their democratic right to be ruled and to be governed and to be provided services by those that they so elected to do so. Members of the press, we need to recognize that our people are vulnerable, and they are going to be exposed to anybody who's dangling a little sweet in front of them. Do not blame them for the actions that they've taken. But we must recognize that over 30 years has passed where the incumbent administration has failed completely to provide the Namibian people in the city with accommodation. It did not rocket science to understand that we are below the ministry and the government. They've got the upper hand. And every effort that we'll do, why would they want us to succeed? And that's the question that must be on the lips of everybody else. Our lordship, worship, the mayor, has tried to navigate this ship in the storms and hurricanes, being bashed from left and right. What he can be guaranteed from IPC and I believe from PDM and NUDO is absolute support and determination to make sure that you maintain the leadership that is collectively going to be managing the city of Windhoek. And for the citizens of Windhoek, I've got this to say. We are a country governed by rule of law, but not rule of law that is enforced with the defamation of citizens when they do wrong. Even if someone is under arrest, their dignity remains. And for the police force, we need to recognize that whilst you've got the power to arrest, you do not have the power to denigrate the dignity of our citizens. We shall take, of course, note of the conduct of the Inspector General, and I've never seen a commander leaving the commanding base to go to the battlefield.
You have these dynamics where the line minister is the one that should approve the city budget for whatever the city wants to do per year. But the line minister takes 8 months to approve the city budget. Now this antagonism and all these words flying around, even if the city of Windhoek wanted to provide basic services to the people of the city of Windhoek, how will they be able to do so without an approved budget? Individual attitudes of councillors does not really reflect and to say they are getting that from their leaders. We all are committed at this table. We are committed to make this coalition work. We are committed to showcase that opposition parties in this country can be trusted with leadership. And this is why we put our differences aside and said, let's come together for the interests of the citizens of this, or the residents of Windhoek.
The courted parties say that they will stand together in making decisions to make sure that the land issue is addressed, noting that they have an emergency meeting that will take place soon, in which they will put heads together to find a solution to land delivery in the city.
Are you a CMS member? With HospiCash 100, you can get up to 100,000 Namibian dollars cover with a 30,000 limit per event from as little as 100 Namibian dollars a month. We understand that being in hospital can be stressful. That is why with HospiCash 100, you can cover your non-medical expenses by receiving cash payouts when you are in hospital, so you can recover stress-free. Interested? SMS your name and HospiCash to 555 and we will call you back.
As tensions rise between opposition parties in the City of Windhoek Council and the National Assembly, Republican Party leader Henk Mudge has urged all opposition leaders to put their differences aside for the good of the country. Joseph Ilonga has more.
Leaders from the main opposition parties have been at odds with each other at the City of Windhoek Municipal Council and in the National Assembly for several months. Two of the Independent Patriots for Change councillors were recently dismissed from the Windhoek City Council, alleging claims of inappropriate conduct in violation of the Constitution. Today on One spoke with the Republican Party's leader about the tensions that arose between some opposition parties during a recent anti-corruption protest in Namibia, where the main opposition parties, with the exception of the LPM, came together in solidarity to protest the ACC director's reappointment.
I honestly blame those party leaders of the people who were taken out of the City of City Council. They will have to explain, and again, hopefully the people and the citizens of Windhoek, and also in the next election the citizens of Namibia will be able to make up their mind. Who are the real political leaders who's got a passion for the country, will do the right thing, not for themselves. Forget about the ego, forget about the position, what you can get from it, but to be leaders that will really put the need of the people first.
The former suspended LPM members of parliament and PDM parliamentarians were also recently involved in a war of words after the LPM leaders accused the PDM leader of conspiring with the Speaker of the National Assembly to keep them out of parliament. Today on One spoke with PDM parliamentarian Vipakuye Muharukwa, who was present at the protest, to get his thoughts.
What do we have to say about the political parties or entities that chooses not to be with us? Nothing. It is immaterial whether they've joined hands or not. The parties who are here and did a good job in Parliament. We continue to do a good job, and I believe our lawyers will continue to deliver a good case tomorrow, and justice will be served, not for us, for Namibians. Because we are not doing this as a vendetta against SWAPO, the president, or anyone. We are consistent in what we do. We have no vendetta against anyone. We attack issues. So it is immaterial as to, what the other parties said or where they are right now.
The opposition parties have since filed an urgent court application in the High Court accusing the Speaker of Parliament of facilitating an unconstitutional parliamentary process that culminated in the ACC director's reappointment. According to sources, the High Court is expected to rule on the case in 3 weeks.
Commersdal constituency activist from the affirmative repositioning movement went to the Ochimise police station to file a complaint against the Namibian police force for allegedly knocking out his tooth. Another partially blind resident was allegedly pursued down by police officers and kicked in the eye. This occurred in Ochimise during a mission commanded by Nampol Inspector General Sebastian Ndetunga. Leston Voller has more.
The other people, they were shouting to them like, no, he cannot see very well, but they were still coming and chasing me.
Is it you that cannot see well?
Yeah, I cannot see well. I was telling them I cannot see well. Then I think after 3 hours, somebody came to tell me, no, your picture is here on New Era front page. So the guy with the overall, that's me. I was just with my friend, we were trying to dig. Then the city police guy came and he told us, you guys stop what you are doing. Then we stopped and he said we must go home. Then on my way home now, he called the task force. Then those guys, they said, come here, because it's not my first time encountering the task force. I know what they can do. Then I tried to run. Then they were chasing me. Then I fell down. Then they came and they started kicking me and pointing me with a gun, even pushing me with a gun, even calling me fucking shit, which is disrespect, because I'm a human. So they have to respect my dignity like them. Then they took me to the car. Then they just pushed me in the car. Then they locked me in. Then we were waiting there. Then we came to the station. Then I was in a phone. They were telling me, no, why are you talking on the phone? Switch off the phone. Then I was quiet. Then from there, they were there. I don't know what they were doing. But then later they decided to take me back, which is unfair, because I don't know now why did they take me. They don't have a reason.
Residents who have gathered outside the Chumise police station were asked to leave, since many of them were there for a demonstration rather than to file a complaint. The AR activist was the only one who went to the police station to submit a report.
No, for me personally, I'm coming here because I'm opening a case. I've lost my tooth yesterday because I was assaulted. Now this had nothing to do with land grabbing, because I was on a private residence. The police officer came into that private residence and hit me with a gun on my side cheek. The result of this assault led to me losing a tooth. So this is why I've come here today to lay charges against the police. Yeah. Yes. I believe it is my constitutional right to do so without any fear of being intimidated or being harassed by the police.
When they came, it was peacefully. We adhered to what they were saying. We listened to it. Afterwards, they came with the task force again, second round. Pressing around, taking people's tools. For what reason? It's not a matter that we are threatening them or we are burning tires in the road to block the road. No, it's more than 31 years that we are voting. Putting people in position so that they can have their power. Afterwards, you vote, they forget about you. At the end, you are 25 years old, you are still in your mother's yard. Until when? We are still even having children. When will we get our own land? We are young, we are working for ourselves. Especially when I talk about myself. I am now working for 2 years in one company. I'm just renting around. Instead of renting around, I can use that money to pay the city of Windhoek. Then I get my own plot. It's not a matter of we are going to get a plot. We know it's illegal, but it's our own. Our forefathers fight for it. You are giving foreigners to build on our land. Flats, industrial areas, while we are suffering for land here. Does that mean the law has been served as it should be?
Most of the protesters left the police station in disappointment, just wondering when the land issue will be resolved.
Why do we do it? Cover up, tone down, hide, instead of choosing boldness. Celebrate the skin you're in with Nivea Rich Nourishing. Our triple layered care of deep moisture serum, natural almond oil, and vitamin E enriches your skin for 48 hours. It's time to show off your best skin. Choose to wear your skin with pride every time with Nivea Rich Nourishing.
In its effort to provide free primary health care to the country's marginalized communities, the Petwa Foundation, for its second outreach, extended primary health care services to Okahandja's 5 Rand residents who received general consultations and COVID-19 vaccinations. Selma Tapapi has this report.
The foundation's founder notes that 50 residents received general consultations and 19 received the COVID-19 vaccination, with the next outreach planned to take place in the Ohangwena region's Okongo constituency.
We were at Ileni Tulikofeni Multipurpose Center, and there was quite a big turnout. We started from 9 until 1. Actually had to go until 2 because there was a lot of patients that we had to still finish up. We had a general consultation station, COVID-19 vaccination site, mobile site came as well. We had a dentist, we had a social worker, and a VIA screening station for cervical cancer screening. It was a range of mostly chronic patients that wanted their refills, a lot of patients that defaulted, their high blood pressure patients that wanted to come and have their medications given, but unfortunately we couldn't give. We had just one medication, we couldn't really offer everything. So a lot of patients we ended up sending to the mainstream hospitals and clinics, which was quite sad, but there was a big turnout, and we were really happy to see a lot of people are being proactive in taking their health seriously and just coming out for this screening and consultations. Yes, because the main aim is really to reach out to marginalized communities. In the towns, it's informal settlements, but we want to go to the villages where there's a lack of primary health care and services. So our next one is planned for Congo constituency in the Ohangwena region. We have contacted the council, and they've given us Olupale village with some community members that has no clinic in sight, and they thought it would be the best place for us to go to. So that's what we are busy planning for now.
The welfare organization also kicked off a fundraising campaign in July with raffle tickets to be sold, of which proceeds will be used for the foundation's various projects and medical outreaches.
Part of Pepper Foundation's objectives is fundraising initiatives for our different projects. So currently we have win a car competition that we have started at the beginning of July. So there is a pre-loved polo that's being given away on the 1st of November. So the competition is running from the 1st of July to the 31st of October. Tickets are going for 50 Namibian dollars. We're busy also trying to liaise with the Ministry of Education so we can give it to the schools so that different willing learners are able to also just get 1 or 2 tickets to the different communities, and if anyone is willing to partake in the competition. Really for a good cause. By the end of the day, one walks away with a car. The medical outreach program, we have recently a Mumbu Kindergarten in Rokanaki knocking on our doors. They need a permanently built structure, and they need a school feeding program at a school, and really just funds towards their school development fund. So we cannot say no. That those are things that are really close to our hearts, and that's what we want to help our disadvantaged communities, marginalized communities that are in need of this different kind of help. So yeah, so that's what we're busy raising funds for.
A winner will be selected on the 1st of November this year by the foundation's beneficiaries, and members of the public who would like to contribute to the fundraising campaign can reach out to the below contact details.
Josiah Shipingana is a man with a passion for agriculture and dreams of Namibia attaining food security. In February this year, he spoke to Today on One about a backyard garden that he has at his house and appealed to Namibians for more space to produce vegetables. A month ago, his plea was answered. He received a piece of land from a Good Samaritan who saw his story. He believes that with agriculture you cannot go wrong, and appeals to Namibians to start up their own gardening projects to curb poverty. Hendrina Caniola has more.
A man known for nothing more than sharing his passion for growing food and the need to boost agriculture in the country, Josiah Shimpingana was pleased when he received a call recently from a local businessman who offered to give him a part of his property for green produce in Ochimise. He now grows vegetables such as spinach, strawberries, onions and potatoes, just to mention a few. He maintains his stance that if Namibians support the agriculture sector, there will be no need to import food as the country will become self-sufficient.
Divert all of us to agriculture for now. We would then able to produce our own food, and in 2 years' time or 1 year time, we become then self-sufficient. But people need to be encouraged through various ways. The strategical methods and mechanisms are there, but if they cannot be implemented systematically, the way things are capacitated, then we cannot move. So therefore, it's very important for all of us to team up and engage ourselves in agricultural activities so that we can able to produce food, even at without looking at to generate money or income, maybe to say for family consumption or for whatever purpose. But again, I see we got the knowledge and the necessary take the lead why we do not have support on the ground. We might willing to take a lead to take on the ground, but the support again should become from the government, the community and everybody else. And again, it's vice versa.
Shimpingana further said that gardening initiatives can meet the government halfway in curbing poverty and malnutrition. He made note of some of the challenges that gardeners might face, such as pest and lack of tools, while stating that it will keep many busy, especially for those that are unemployed.
When I started, I got some challenges. And then there were armor crickets at a time, and then there were rats. But I never give up. I like challenge sometimes, although sometimes they might bring, traumas and so on. But nevertheless, never mind, it could not discourage me at all. I went further. So, if I can tell you the truth that if it was not at the cost of the birds or the challenge that I had mentioned earlier, by this time, this garden was going to be green all over. If we don't have food, we are going through a pandemic. There is no job opportunity. You see, if you look at this land, by maybe 2-3 months time, it's not going to be like this. And then you can able to employ people if it happens. I mean, if it can happen. But as much as concerned, as by now, if people cannot come and say to avail the land, we're gonna go through what is meant man-made poverty or cycle of poverty, because we cannot live like this.
He is also calling on persons who are interested in starting up their own gardening projects to keep in touch with him, as he can offer them training by sharing his skills that he has gained over the years. The businessman who assisted Shimpingana with his project said that he hopes that the initiative will grow and provide food for locals in the area.
This is my favorite gear, cause it speaks for me and all my brothers. Nivea Men Black and White Deo. With 5 times Deo action to protect you and your favorite gear from stains. Try Nivea's #1 anti-stain deodorant. Nivea Men, it starts with you.
In other leading stories, the Development Workshop Namibia has received support totaling 1.75 million Namibia dollars from RMB Namibia since 2018, and the money has been utilized for a number of community projects. Beat Weber of DWN and the contribution by RMB Namibia has been used for several key projects, of which the most important being the land program, sanitation program, and the COVID-19 emergency support program. He explains that the contribution from RMB were all strategic and critical investments into the early stages of programs that address key development issues in Namibia and have subsequently developed into major national programs. The land and sanitation programs have contributed to the national development policy as well as development practice on the ground. Philip Chapman, CEO of RMB Namibia, said RMB aims to work as a catalyst for the upliftment of Namibians all over the country through innovative solutions. The program for the delivery of affordable land for housing was given a much-needed financial injection in 2018 with an amount of 250,000 Namibia dollars. Another contribution of 500,000 Namibia dollars in 2020 was used for the revolving funds in Keetmanshoop and Karibab and to establish the Land Program Office in northern Namibia. RMB support further paved the way for a new FNB loan scheme currently piloted in Oshakati and Okahau. Through the scheme, clients of the DWN NCE land program are eligible for a FNB personal loan up to 50,000 Namibia dollars at a period between 24 to 48 months. DWN initiated an urban sanitation program with support from UN organizations, which encourages residents to build their own toilets while providing building guidelines and training. It also involves the work of many volunteers who implement sanitation awareness campaigns, informing residents on the importance of building and using toilets and the dangers of open defecation.
We can't wait to be together again. But until then, let's stay safe.
Joseph Shifeni standing by for today's edition of Business on One and Economic Indicators.
Thank you for joining me for today's edition of Business on One. I'm Joseph Shifeni. A Eurowings Discover Airbus A330-200 touched down at the Hosea Putako International Airport this week. The leisure airline that operates under the Lufthansa Group is now currently the only European airline that offers direct flights to Namibia. We spoke to the airline's chief executive officer, who is also a pilot and operated the first flight to Windhoek. He informed Business on One that they will soon increase the flight schedule between Frankfurt and Windhoek. Namibia has always been a popular holiday destination for travelers from all over the world. From Europe and in particular Germany, the Lufthansa Group has served this route over the years. The new Eurowings Discover airline will now take over and connect Frankfurt to Windhoek with 5 flights a week. The chief executive officer described the moment of landing at the local airport as historic.
There have been different airlines of the group using this route, but really it is perfectly designed for us. I think we are meeting the demands of the market as best as we can. So we are happy to take over from today. We will connect Frankfurt with 5 weekly flights. So we're actually increasing the frequency right now. 5 weekly flights to Frankfurt. And so Namibians can travel with us through Frankfurt to Germany, to Europe, and to the rest of the world. Otherwise, on the other hand, we will collect, European travelers or worldwide travelers who wish to come to Namibia via the hub in Frankfurt and bring them down to Namibia. So this is our task and what we do. Next year, we want to increase our frequencies again. So we want to come down to 7 weekly flights. So there will be a daily flight connecting Frankfurt and Windhoek. And 3 of those flights will be extended from here towards Victoria Falls.
Eurowings Discover is a leisure airline, and Rübiger assured local customers that they offer competitive fares. In addition, corporate travelers can expect a sophisticated business class.
So we have built an airline over the last 1.5 years with a great team and a great dedication to focus on the touristic traveler. Those people who travel maybe once or twice a year, who cannot afford a premium airline service, but who wish for a quality carrier. And this is what we have done in Eurowings Discover. So we have taken parts of the Lufthansa Group systems together, built a wholly new airline with new crews and new stuff, and redesigned the airplanes. And I think we are offering quite a good product. We're very happy to be here. Windhoek is one of our first destinations. We're serving African destinations these days, 3 of them, and Windhoek is one of them.
The airliner comes at a time when the industry is recovering from the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. The CEO is hopeful that business will pick up and remains committed towards connecting Namibians to the rest of the world during these difficult times.
Well, you see, this has been the worst crisis aviation has seen, probably the worst crisis the world has seen for decades or centuries. Yeah, but it's as we can see right now is we all want the physical, the personal contact. It's so deep in our DNA. And once a country opens up, it is safe to travel. People come back and travel, and we can see that in our booking numbers. And once the restrictions get relieved, we see that the tourists come back. They want to travel. They want to meet foreign cultures. They want to meet your hospitality. They want to visit your country. So I'm very hopeful that we will be able to fill our airplanes over the next months.
Rubiger has nearly 30 years of experience in the industry and operated the first flight to Windhoek, where they were welcomed by the German ambassador and local government officials. And that is all we have for you. Join us again next time, and don't forget to follow us on our social media pages.
Dink jy sy het nog steeds abandonment issues?
Is moontlik.
Al ons moeite met die sprokies. Ek probeer so hard om my kind gelukkig te maak, maar ek kry dit nie reg nie.
Probeer net help, dis al.
Jy doen niks sonder bymotiewe nie.
So jy hou van die tattoo?
Nee. Maar jy kan nie liefde koop nie. En beslis nie myne nie.
Jy regular.
Am I that predictable?
Jy is 'n gereelde klant en ons net so 'n manier om koffie te drink.
How do you like your coffee?
Gewoonlik swart sonder suiker.
Does black and bitter only pertain to your coffee preference?
Ek hou maar net van my koffie sonder melk. Hoe gaan ek 'n bal raak slaan na 2 glase wyn?
That was part of my plan.
Wat? Om 'n tipsie te maak sodat jy kan wen.
I'm terrible at papa.
Time now for Comments Corner, your daily dose of comments from our social media pages. Chaos broke out in Ignatius Loyola Street in Windhoek, Skadatura, as community members came out in numbers to dispute the eviction of the Beekers family. The residents say the removal is unfair and are also accusing law enforcement of using violent force in the process. Concetta noted that the seller is the one responsible for the mess. Jonita says the way law enforcement officers address communities is a serious concern. Bernadette wants to know why the officer is kicking and throwing the family's belongings. Macy wants to know who the seller is and how the seller got hold of the documents. France noted that very soon the homeless will cause a civil war. Mendes wants to know where the councillor is. Abraham says the nation must stand up against corruption. While Jamel asked why armed soldiers are dealing with societal and domestic issues. That is all from Comments Corner. Be sure to post your comments on our social media pages for broadcast only on Today at 1.
Catch Namibia's rising talents displaying the best goals, breathtaking saves, Khafar like a 1-2 combination on the pitch, as well as the biggest misses. It's the MTC Hop Soul Youth League Soccer Show, showcasing Africa's next soccer superstars. Only on One Africa Television, every Wednesdays at 18:30. Aye, is Super Disc on another level.
Time now for today's sports update with Tyro Musiandaka.
Welcome to Sports on One. I'm Charo Musiandaka. Namibian teenage sprinters Christine Bomba and Beatrice Masilingi were dealt a blow 2 weeks before their Olympic dream debut, that they were excluded from the 400 track race, which is their favorite event, due to alleged high natural testosterone levels. Upon their arrival back from the Olympics, the Minister of Sports and Youth and National Services confirmed that the Line Ministry has started consultations with the relevant authorities on this issue. Castro Lumbu has more on this.
The Namibian nation was recently hit with news that the sensational golden teenage girls Christine Boma and Beatrice Masilingi will not be allowed to compete in the 400-meter track race event, in which they have been excelling on the international stage by breaking record after record due to allegedly high natural testosterone levels, according to World Athletics track and field rules. Christine and Beatrice were then registered to compete in the 200-meter track race event, which they are eligible to participate in. At the event, both Christine and Beatrice produced exceptional performances by going through to the 200-meter heats on course to the finals. Christine went on to finish second ahead of Jamaican 7-time Olympic gold medalist Shirley Ann Fraser-Price and America's Gabrielle Thomas to take the silver medal, as well as breaking the 200-meter world under-20 record in a time of 21.81 seconds. Her countrymate Beatrice Masilingi finished 6th in the star-studded race, but recorded her new personal best, as well as running the third best time of all women under the age of 19 years. These exceptional performances from the Namibian teenage sensation caused havoc as it opened the intersex debate in the 200-meter track race event, as some suggesting World Athletics relook to add the event as prohibited for athletes with difference in sex development. The Line Ministry, together with Namibia sports athletics bodies, were inundated by the public on what steps they will take on this issue. At a recent welcoming event of the athletes, the Minister of Sport, Youth and National Service gave their stance on the issue.
We have started. We already had a meeting with the Ministry of Sport and what of South Africa, because they already had went that route, and we didn't want to start afresh something which our neighbors are already busy with. So we had a meeting with them. We were just waiting for the Olympic leadership to come back. That is now the President and the Secretary General, so on, so that we can, because even if we want as government to do whatever, what we so far have done is at the UN level, we already made our statement through our Minister of International Relations, and is it Mr. Dr. Penda on the other side. We at the UN level, because there was a UN meeting just after that, and we made our statement there. Then we had our meeting already, as I said, with the Minister of Sport of South Africa to see how far they have come, because just the Caster Semenya issue, they have already traveled that road. So we didn't want to start. So we asked them how far, what have they done, what, and all those things. We are just waiting for President and Secretary General of Olympic to come back, because they must now. We are not Olympics. And you see, each and everything have their international lines. If we as a government just right now, they will ask, who the hell are these people? They only know they are people in the NNOC. So they must now write to us. What we want is the request for the legal representatives and the request for medical. Because medical, we must go medical, and we must go legal while we are pursuing our political path.
Jamaica's 7-time Olympic medalist Shirley Ann Fraser-Price, who finished 4th behind America's Gabrielle Thomas, Namibia's teenager Christine Boma, and fellow countrywoman Elaine Thompson-Herah taking gold, recently sympathized and defended the two Namibian teenage sensations, quoted from the Sydney Morning Herald that the teenagers deserved glory in Tokyo. After returning home from Japan, Boma and Masilingi are now preparing to participate at the 2020 Under-20 World Athletics Championships in Kenya, Nairobi this month, where they will lead a team of 6 selected by Athletics Namibia. Christine Boma will compete in the 200-meter and 4x100-meter relays, and Beatrice Masilingi will compete in the 100-meter, 200-meter, and 4x100-meter relay events.
That's all we have for you today. And don't forget to follow us on our social media pages. Back to you, Maggie.
Thank you, Charo. For the latest in sports, let's have a look at the weather forecast.
Time now for the weather forecast, but first an advisory from the Windhoek Met office. Near freezing level conditions are expected in the south, central and eastern regions tomorrow morning. Please take the necessary precautions. The interior will be partly cloudy and cold to mild in the south, central and eastern regions. Elsewhere, sunny and warm to hot. The coast will be partly cloudy and cold to mild with fog patches at first, and wind will be moderate northwesterly to southwesterly. Now let's look at the minimum and maximum temperatures across the country and beyond.
We have come to the end of today's edition of Today on One. Don't forget to follow us on our social media pages. From me, Maggie Forciero, and the rest of the team, it's good night.
The International University of Management, a Namibian university dedicated to its people's future. A hub of abundant opportunities.
We are IUL for life. We are IUL.
Omba Arts Trust is not just an organization for me. I think of it in the form of a person, a mother and a friend I have walked and grew with. A friend whom I've traveled many remote and dusty roads. A sister who provided so much needed support during times of fear and uncertainty.
Kyo, Kutim Haka Koja Horako, Kainitum Katite, Kainatum Kalka, Potegatit, Kurichisite, Mukato, Okato, Amka. Matin, Kalka Kwachako, has Kains at a Gokun, as Kains out the cook like Aka Kudan. Them Kalka, see, good Agan, Habatika Kushi, Gadi. Come on, I take you, Aquaka, Kalakani, Unkawaka, Siko. I'm as only Kake, you can say, could be on my I'm here. I'm
akan kete kaka kwasi aka kwasi sekudu
kai kani duchi sake
kunit kubuka kana borka kana kumka
There is a saying in Damara for people such as Omba, which is which simply means someone who will, with love, exchange your lean piece of meat with their fat one. It might sound simple when translated, but when used towards a loved and appreciated person, it gives such honor. It describes a person who will do everything to make sure you are taken care of. Besides, we all know how the Damaras love their meat.
It's Maria. Good. Jy moet 'n bietjie meer reg wees, net soos die boere hulle mielies plat. Ja.
I have seen Omba grow and turn into a light of hope for Namibians all over Namibia. I have seen women and men grow as individuals, becoming respected members of their communities, but also valuable providers of their families. I have seen people with no hope in their eyes light up when they see Omba arrive to fulfill a promise which was made and which they did not believe will be kept. I have seen women dance and sing for hours until the dust from their feet covers us all because the old friend has arrived. I've seen women standing up in front of a large number of people and express their hopes and dreams. I've seen people who have never left their village travel hours and hours to other countries and share their culture and experiences. I have seen children grow and become young women and men before my very eyes. Omba has been the sister holding hands throughout it all. Omba has built valuable and strong relationship with communities, empowering both women and men, but the impact on women can be seen and felt most sincerely. The work with the women has such a ripple effect all over the whole village, most especially the young. Omba has taught them to fish. As times grow tougher and much more difficult, money becomes scarce. Environment around us changes and nothing will ever be the same again. In times like this is when we realize the value of a friend like Omba. It provides hope, constant support, reliable income, and keeping us all together, keeping our pots filled and our fires burning. A motivation to do better, live better, and expect better. If one day the unthinkable happens and Omba is no more, it will be a sad time for our Namibian rural population. Therefore, let's keep the light burning at all costs.
Ons staan mense is die eerste mense in die wêreld wat vandag agter gaan staan. Omba is nou die water wat vir ons nat maak. Dat onze wortels mooi groeien, dat ons vruchten kan brengen, kos kan brengen. Omba gee vir ons werk. En van daaraf lewe ons.
It's just an amazing story that ostrich eggshell beads, 72,000 years ago, the ancestors of the San were making ostrich eggshell beads, and today in the 2020s, Junko women are still making those beads pretty much in the same way. And the work has evolved from fairly traditional products, this probably would have been worn like this, into something as sophisticated and contemporary as this necklace from the waterfall range. So here we are bringing the necklace to this gallery in Windhoek, and it then gets sold to customers in Europe, in America, and generating income for women, Junko women back in the Kalahari. So it's just an amazing thread of history that goes to this ostrich egg, to this contemporary jewelry. This basket I absolutely love. It's a finely woven basket in natural dyes. This asymmetry is very unique to Namibian baskets, and we've been working with these women, doing workshops and helping them evolve into these incredibly fine baskets. We've worked with the women developing different palettes, and there's another one with a slightly more yellow palette, but considered are the best baskets in Africa. What we're showing you in this short video is really a long journey of working together with rural communities, reviving ancient traditions, turning them into contemporary world-class products, and supporting the livelihoods of over 400 artisans. Even during COVID-19, we've been helping our sand communities with food and distribution of tippy taps. What we need to do now is to honour the trust that has been put in us over the last 30 years, to support marginalised sand communities and the livelihoods of rural women around Namibia. Your donation will help us get our 400 artisans back to work as soon as possible so that they can feed their families. The lives of their 2,000 family members will directly benefit from this. Please help us raise $50,000 by contributing to the Omba Artisan C19 Support Fund. No matter how big or small, this will make a difference in the lives of our artisans during COVID-19. Thank you.
What's up, world? This is Shay, the goddess of the airwaves, on 99 FM, Monday to Friday, serving you breakfast on the ignition between 6 and 9. We brought you to be inspired, taking you to master your destiny. Now it's time to do the work.
Just show up.
Put on your work boots and do the time.
Make it, and then make it better.
Hello, world. It's your boy Script here on The Kingdom, where we're reminding you every single day.
Get up. You've got this. Start where you are.
Hey, this is your girl Treza on Hitsville on 99 FM, letting you know it's okay.
Try.
Make mistakes.
Ask.
I am Sibo, and I'm going to be with you for quite a while. Thank you so much for joining us here on your inspiration station, where we let you know
there's no easy money, there's no easy job, there's no easy life.
99 FM. Do the work.
Akili, akili, akili. Let's chase the germs away. Let's chase the germs away by keeping our hands clean. And when you want to sneeze or when you want to cough, do it in your elbow. Let's practice sneezing into your elbow. Are you ready? 1, when you see